So at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Roger Fairborn, who's going to acknowledge our sponsors for the evening.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And I'd like to welcome everybody on behalf of the trustees of the museum and share with you some of the people who have supported this. Can you hear me? Yeah, very good. You never know for sure when you see people shaking their heads. You don't know what's going on. So that's great. We have a number of different sponsors. We have table sponsors. We have designer sponsors. We have marketing sponsors. And then we've also had a number of in-kind donations to create those nice gift bags that you guys got in anticipation of this evening. Our table sponsors, we appreciate these folks. These folks essentially, they don't pay for the designs, but they support the designs and they support Tablescapes by sponsoring a table. The first one is Sherry Kramer. Sherry, thank you very much. I think you're on here. Dr. and Mrs. Hobbs. Marjorie, if you haven't left to go watch the ball game, say hello.
We're dual.
Mr. and Mrs. Jim Holtzapple. Jim serves as our treasurer. He always can be counted on for supporting the museum. We have a sponsorship from Indigo Moon, Amber Sun Therapeutic Massage.
Hello.
There they are. Say hello. There we go.
Hi.
All right. The James and Mary Schurz Foundation. Dr. George and Connie Manger. Mr. and Mrs. David O. McCain, all the way from Mississippi. Paul and Lotta Malott. A newcomer this year is Bill Pitzer. And then there's this weird guy, Roger, that has a real estate company that runs around in Hagerstown. So, hello. Our designer sponsorships this year are Dr. and Mrs. Emmett Burke. And our marketing and advertising sponsor this year that we've always been able to depend on is the Hagerstown and Washington County Visitors Bureau. Now, those nice gift bags you came from, we decided when we had to go virtual with this event a couple of years ago that we were going to support local businesses. And you'll find your gift bags are populated with local treats. The first one is your wine from Cool Ridge Vineyard. That's down on Cool Hollow Road. Mountaineer Popcorn. They're a newcomer this year. I don't know if you tried your popcorn, but I got salt and pepper and it's very, very nice. Brooks House Chocolates. They've opened their new coffee shop and chocolate shop down in the South End Shopping Center on Maryland Avenue, right behind South High. And a final one, Palmyra Cheese, that is all of this great cheese. It's on my little cheese tray here. Tonight I'm having Chesapeake cheddar and it tastes pretty good. With that, I'll turn it back over to Sarah with my thanks to everyone for your support and look forward to letting the voting take off.
Great, thanks so much, Roger. I did want to mention some of our trustees who are on with us tonight, including Roger Fairborn, who is our board chair. I don't think Dr. George Manger is with us tonight, although he might be with a stealth email or identity. We have Margie Hobbs, Jim Holzapfel, Kathy Poropatic, Ashley Notabartola, Nan Stevens, and also from our board of advisors and standing committees, I think Tracy Felker, John Gladhill, and Oliver Tessier are supposed to be part of this evening. So thanks so much for being with us. And the next portion of the evening is I'm going to go through really quickly and go through the list of the designers, and then Vicki and Candy are going to take us on a tour of the website. So our 2022 Tablescapes, amazing Tablescapes designers, and this is in sort of alphabetical order, include Victoria Beyer and Candice Douglas, our co-chairs, doing The World is Your Oyster. Laura Chalupka doing The Queens Meet for their annual book. Barbara Diefender for Deb Lawson and Lauren Pearson at Weaver's Roundtable, and some other participants who will be acknowledged in the longer presentation doing Nature's Picnic. Cindy Downs has Salute to Independence by the Looney Tunes. Dana Gregory has Hatter's Tea Party. Penny Hill and Ellen Struck are doing the Women's Club celebrating 100 years. Carol Lee and Julian Lee, our UK representatives, have done a table called Precious Things. Peggy Mars and Kelly Neely, The Fairies Escape, and Suki Rankin and Denny Warrenfeldt's Cabin Fever. Donna Staley has done Dessert at Gingerbread Village. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to open up a screen share and show you the website a little bit. And then we're going to do a tour, and Candy and Vicki are going to tell us more about the designers and their tables. So let's all hope. We've been doing this for a while, but let's hope that we can get the technology gods in our favor here. How many times have we rehearsed this? You're gonna see something else first, and then you'll see the right thing. There we go. Amazing table. Everybody can see that?
No.
No? You can't?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm hearing yeses and nos.
No.
No.
This says screen sharing, but it doesn't have a picture.
Okay, let me try that over again. Share screen. That time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
Got it.
Okay, so this is our Amazing Tablescapes website. As you scroll down, you will see some information about the way Tablescapes works. Here are the 2 Lee Weaver original works that we have for every $50 in voting that we get. And it can be voting for any table or any combination of tables. Each $50 gives you an entry into a drawing for one of these 2 Lee Weaver pieces. And as you go down, you'll see there are drop-down menus here for voting. So it's pretty simple through PayPal, and voting is open for the whole month of February. So you can, after tonight, you can go on and play around and explore on your own if you would like to. In the meantime, I'm going to turn things over to Candy and Vicki.
We have dedicated the 2022 Amazing Tablescapes to the memory of E. Lee Weaver, artist, educator, and friend of the museum. This memorial to Lee was created by his student, South High colleague, and close friend, Don Weyer. Don was an art teacher at South High and education director at the museum. He's an avid photographer and ceramist. Doris Hoopengardner and I took Lee's watercolor classes at the museum as much to watch him paint and see his work as to paint ourselves. Lee painted standing up. You need to let the arms move and put lots of paint on the paper. He worked around the painting, sometimes painting the sky in last. He mixed some colors on the palette, but his amazing values and grays came from mixing on the painting. He had the ability to make you think you see lots of details just with shadows and textures. He went through hundreds of paper towels, dabbing his brush and removing paint he wanted lighter. He had an old plastic butter dish for water. He said he had the largest collection of Lee Weaver rejects, emphasizing to his students that not every painting was a success. When a painting didn't meet his standard, he put a big red X on it and started over. Lee was a great storyteller and often had people in stitches with tales of students and colleagues. When he was our art supervisor, he hosted a lunch to start the year off right.
2022 Amazing Tablescapes.
It was the Great Pig Out, where Lee grilled some kind of meat. He loved spending time with his grandchildren, especially drawing and painting. He talked about them all the time. Family was his rock, and he was proud of his clan. So let's watch the E. Lee Weaver Memorial Table by Don Weyer.
Is dedicated to the memory of Lee Weaver, a devoted friend of the arts community and the Museum of Fine Arts in Washington County.
Let me know what.
Lee Weaver died on May 12, 2021. Many hearts were broken. Some folks knew Lee as an art teacher and mentor, some as a hunting safety instructor and fisherman, some as a beloved husband, father, grandfather, friend. All knew Lee as an artist. His watercolors reflected his surroundings in his unique way. Not so long ago, as he reflected upon his diverse interests, his life, and his family, he said, "I am a man in full." Indeed. And so Lee Weaver remains vivid in our memories as a man who appreciated the abundance of this life fully and shared that in so many ways.
The next table is The World is Your Oyster, Victoria Meyer, me, and Candace Douglas. Candy and I have co-chaired the 5 years of Amazing Tablescapes, not only to support the museum, but to share the creativity it inspires in all who know it. So it's no surprise that Candy's mother's oyster plate collection brought us to recall the world is your oyster, as Shakespeare alluded to so long ago. Open an oyster or open your mind to all the beauty art in any form can create. Hi, I'm Vicki Beyer.
And I'm Candy Douglas.
And this is our 5th year of Amazing Tablescapes. Our table is titled The World is Your Oyster. The plate is repeated in Shakespeare, The Merry Wives of Winter. Why then the world's mine oyster, which I restored will open.
When we say the world is your oyster, we mean that when you open up the oyster and look, you can either find a pearl or you can find a grain of sand. And we're looking at this COVID time as a pearl with opportunities that we might not have had before. We started with the plates. The plates are all oyster plates that my mother collected.
We added many things, as you can see from the table. We had oyster shells decoupaged to enhance the napkins.
Learned a lot about oysters doing this table, and the ecology of oysters is something that everybody should learn about because oysters really are good for the environment. The Women's Club is our next table, celebrating 100 years. Returning designers Penny Hill and Ellen Strock made the centerpiece of their table a replica of the Women's Club at 31 South Prospect Street. It is a federal-style home built in 1938 and now listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The club was organized in 1921 by women who had been active in relief projects during World War I. Today, the club promotes the welfare and education of women of Washington County. Of note, since the club's formation, the building has always been owned by women.
The Women's Club of Hagerstown is celebrating its 100th anniversary, having organized in September of 1921. The home we are in today was built in 1838. It is on the National Registry of Historic Places. It was purchased in 1923 by the Women's Club. The ladies took out a loan to do an extensive renovation, adding an auditorium and rooms on the second floor to rent. Unique in our community, and perhaps in all of Maryland, the Women's Club has provided rooms to single women since 1924. This past summer, we did an extensive renovation to all of our rental rooms. The dollhouse, which is part of this beautiful tablescape, was designed by Penny Hill and Ellen Strock. It is a replica of the club. It was commissioned to be built in 1983 as part of the Dollhouse and Miniature fundraiser. It has been lovingly restored to reflect our current home.
For more information on the Women's Club's 100th anniversary celebrations, visit www.womensclubhagerstown.org.
Our next table is from designer Laura Chalupka. The Queens meet for their annual book. Bank manager, mixed media artist, and maker of whimsical things, Laura considers a tablescape a collage. Always fascinated by fairy tales and what happens outside the story, this table was inspired by Laura's love of tea, books, and what queens did when they were not having dramatic moments, and the knowledge that literature can overcome personal differences in the interest of a great story. She sends a special thank you to her husband and 3 daughters who allow her to do what she loves.
Hi there, I'm Laura Chalupka, and welcome to my table concept, which I call the monthly book club of the fairy tale queens. So with the queens, they don't have a lot of things they have in common, but one thing they do love is to read. So they come together once a month, go through their favorite books. You can see they've marked places in the books. So they all have their own favorite passages, and they insist on reading aloud to each other. We do have a couple accommodations for them. So basically, none of the place settings are the same. The china is collected, the silverware is collected, because you do not want to insult a queen by giving her the same thing as another queen and not taking her likes into consideration. We also have some fur throws for our queens that are from warmer climates, maybe not used to this weather here in the Eastern Panhandle. But we do have a queen that does even feel comfortable enough to take off her shoes. So don't forget the mirror though, they're a little vain. Thanks again for coming. Enjoy.
Okay, this one's not letting me shrink it.
The next table is a salute to independence by the Looney Tunes. Cindy Roberts Downs. Returning People's Choice winning designer, Cindy is a watercolorist and junk metal sculptor who supports the museum because it has always been her happy place. She states that Lee Weaver, to whom this event is dedicated, was a constant influence on her life. The last time she saw him, he had won a monetary award in an art show. He had the check made out to his son's friend who was having a rough time. That was the type of man Lee was and the legacy he left. She requests that we donate to the museum in honor of Lee Weaver, a great man. Thank you, Cindy.
Hi, my name is Cindy Roberts Downs, and I want to welcome you to my sculpture garden. My tablescape this year is titled Salute to Independence. And that is because every year the Maryland Symphony Orchestra goes to the Antietam battlefield and thousands of people come to hear the music and see the fireworks go off. Due to COVID, a lot of things have changed. So my characters that I have created are called the Looney Tunes, and they decided to step up to bat just in case the Maryland Symphony Orchestra needed them to step in, because the characters I created are totally COVID resistant. I'd like to thank you for supporting the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts, and especially for helping the children's program to keep it free. Because to quote Pablo Picasso, every child is an artist.
Next, we have Dessert at Gingerbread Village by Donna Staley. Returning designer Donna's love of decorating started in high school. Her home is always decorated for every season with her collections and treasures. Her displays epitomized creating a tablescape from an ordinary table. Donna and her daughter Tammy have joined in Amazing Tablescapes since its inception, with the creation of 6 tables with themes ranging from the circus to Halloween.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna Staley, and my daughter and I have done a table for the museum this year. It's called Desserts Gingerbread Village. And this is our 6th table that we've done for the museum. And we've enjoyed doing it. And we featured our gingerbread house collection this year. And I hope when you all go online and enjoy looking at all the tablescapes this year, that you will vote for your favorite table. So we have a nice fundraiser for the museum. And I hope that you all have a blessed new year.
Our next table is The Hatter's Tea Party by Dana Gregory. Dana is last year's People's Choice winning designer. She has loved the story of Alice in Wonderland since childhood. She likes the fantastical imagery it provokes as an escape from reality. She chose to do a tea party theme because she has collected teapots and cups for years while treasure hunting in antique shops. She likes to enjoy tea with friends. She found the perfect space for her tablescape at Gardens of Grace in Greencastle, Pennsylvania. She is already thinking about what tablescape she will create for next year's event.
Hi there, Dana Gregory here. I'm inviting you to the Hatter's Tea Party. This table is influenced by the story of Alice in Wonderland, a story that I hold very dear to my heart, even in this day can relate to. As things grow curiouser and curiouser, I am often trying to find a moment to stop and smell the roses. So we can sit here at our table and enjoy it full of treats. I have a lot of little friends tucked away amongst them. My table settings include luncheon sets and teacups, a plethora of teapots, and candelabras that I have actually made utilizing items found from museum treasure sales of years past. So please take a moment, enjoy yourself, maybe ponder the question, how is a raven like a writing desk? And most importantly, vote for your favorite tablescapes to support the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts.
Our next table is Precious Things, designers Carol Lee and Julian Lee. International returning designers from the United Kingdom, Carol and Julian are career educators now retired in their respective workshops. Julian uses carefully sourced material and combinations which interest him, and Carol designs and makes jewelry and wearable sculpture. Their tablescape is about histories in objects, finding preciousness in the mundane or common, giving meaning to and reflecting on how objects can bring us back or take us forward to other times and places. They see everyone as having precious things, as precious things are everywhere.
Good morning. My name's Julian Lee, and this is our second submission to the Amazing Tablescapes. Everyone has precious things, often gathered over a lifetime. Here are some of ours, from near and from far, in distance and in time. They reflect history, moments, love, conflict, items of personal significance, items of simply intrinsic birth. Some have been repurposed. Carol has made jewellery, and I have made the chest that they sit on and 2 bowls. So our table is in fact a chest. It's made from oak and salvaged from a 400-year-old Suffolk barn, and it's joined with vintage handmade rosehead nails and black bog oak bow ties. I think it wears its history well, and I've sent some photographs and some videos for your interest. This is a quick guide.
We have a little bit of a longer video for Julie and Carol that you can take a look at on the website. We're giving everybody about a minute tonight.
Nature's Picnic is our next table. Barbara Diefendorfer, Deb Lawson, and Lauren Peterson, and other contributing members of the Weavers Roundtable, including Karen Hennenberger.
Okay.
Including Karen Hennenberger, Teresa and Lyle Rush, Lynn Kellerman, Linda Brown, Nancy Moyer, Kathleen Skidmore, Sandra Miller, Elaine Perry, Elaine Frederick, and Lauren Peterson. Returning Design Group, the Weavers Roundtable, was founded in 1980 as an outgrowth of weaving classes at the museum. Contact the museum if you are interested in membership. Members shared some of the needle-felted animals they created while brainstorming for a tablescape theme. They decided to create something lighthearted while having fun with a whimsical outdoor table.
This table display, Nature's Picnic, was created by members of the Weavers Roundtable, a fiber arts study guild at the museum. Members are primarily weavers, but pursue multiple crafts such as needle felting, dyeing, spinning, knitting, and crocheting, and tamari. All the figures created in this display were handmade for this display by the Weavers Roundtable members. For more information about the Weavers Roundtable, contact the museum.
Our next table, The Fairies Escaped. Designers Peggy Morris and Kelly Mealy. Kelly has been working with the museum for about 5 years and recently has become the director of education. In her spare time, she creates art and is inspired by the imagination of her 2 daughters. They take her through magical portals and mysterious gardens with their play and stories. She was happy to collaborate with her mother, Peggy, who recently moved close by. Peggy was excited to put together a whimsical tablescape and bring beauty into the world while contributing to the ongoing mission of the museum. They bring a little fairy magic and mischief to the WCMFA.
Hi, I'm Kelly Mealy, and this table has been designed by myself and my mother, Peggy Mars. And what we have here is 2 different tables kind of combined into one. We see an overturned scientific laboratory where a scientist has been collecting fairies, and suddenly he comes into his laboratory and they have escaped. And so we see spilled over potions and herbs all over the place. And taken off where we see evidence where they've had a tea party with things they've stolen from the laboratory. So we can see lots of little details, moss from the forest, and we set up here in the garden of the museum. So you get the feel of outdoor fairies in a forest fairy situation. So I hope you enjoy the table here, and I hope you've enjoyed all the other tables at the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts.
Last but not least is Cabin Fever, Suki Rankin and Denny Warrenfelds. Denny and Suki have both created tablescapes for 5 years. While decorating his home, Denny found a cabin his wife had made. It inspired the tablescape theme that he and Suki incorporated with personal items, elements of several decorating jobs, and botanicals from the garden of Jimmy Kramer. Denny, owner of Rooster Vane Gardens, has been in the floral business for 50 years. His designs have earned him a reputation for creativity and ingenuity. Suki has been a member of his staff for 13 years and is not only a floral designer, but an accomplished jewelry artist. They feel the past 2 years have given us all cabin fever and hope we enjoy their progressive dinner, looking forward to spring.
Good evening. Welcome to our home. I'm Denny Warrenfeldt, and my wife Shawn and I frequently entertain here, especially in the winter months when we can have a nice hot fire going in the outdoor fireplace, and we'll cook up some fresh done oysters. Also, we're having those on the porch, then a very hearty dinner of various root vegetable stew, along with some fresh patted butter and rolls. Afterwards, we'll retire up to the library for desserts and conversation, along with an opportunity for everyone to take along a sack of buckwheat flour and also borrow books from my extensive library. And you may return them at no return charge. And also, I appreciate the help from Suki Rankin in preparing the table settings for you this evening for your lovely meal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, designers. It's been delightful.
Yes, as always.
That was really fun. Thanks so much for taking us through that, Candy and Vicki. I don't know if anybody has any questions. We're happy to take questions in the chat or online. I think there might have been a little blip in there. I had an unstable internet connection for a moment, so I apologize for that if that caused any issues for anyone, but we're really happy you were here for us tonight. I just had a few other things that I wanted to go over before we say good night, and that is we promised you the link in the chat. I don't know if Crystal, are you able to plop the link to the website in the chat for everybody? Hoping Crystal's still here. I'm juggling a bunch of things, so if you can do that, that would be great.
I can't because I'm on the iPad.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe Wally can do that because he's been really helpful tonight as well. So we'll get the link in the chat for everybody. What we're doing is the voting is obviously we're raising money for the museum, but it's also goes towards the People's Choice Award. So the table that raises the most money wins the People's Choice Award. We have this cute little trophy at the museum that looks like a little gold table setting, and they get their names put on, added to the list of winners on that, and whatever sense of, personal pride you get. But we're going to announce the People's Choice Award winner at our annual meeting on March 3rd, which at this point is looking like it's probably going to also be a virtual event, but we will make that decision in a couple of weeks or so. But what we're going to do is throughout the month of February, you have the whole month to vote. We'll be giving the top 5 tables every week. So you can kind of keep tabs on things by checking our social media and seeing what the top 5 tables are. So I had a couple of other things I thought might be fun. Candy earlier told me I should remind everyone that we do have an amazing, fabulous tablescape at the museum right now, which is the contemporary art installation by Bauke de Vries called War and Pieces. And I think I have an image of it that I can show you on here. Yeah, that's what it looks like in our Schreiber gallery right now. So if you haven't been in to see that most fabulous of contemporary art, amazing tablescapes, it's going to be up until March 13th. And beginning in mid-February through, and Kelly Mealy's on the line and she may know the exact dates, but mid-February through that March 13th date, we also have in our atrium sugar tablescape being created by Steve Weiss from Blue Ridge Technical and Community College and his students. He's considered one of the best sugar artists in the world. And without getting into too much detail, the Bouke de Vries installation is based on porcelain tablescapes of the 17th century, which would originally have been made out of sugar, molded sugar in the 1600s. So Steve is going to work backwards from the porcelain to sugar. And I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm not visible. Says it says that my camera is on, but no, magic. I turned it off and turned it back on, and here I am. So sorry I was invisible to you guys. But anyway, hope you'll stop in and see both of those amazing tablescapes. Go on the website to Our Amazing Tablescapes and vote. Tell all your friends about it. Share on social media for us. It is the 90th year of the museum, as I keep telling people, and it really is something to toast to. So as we wrap up, I'd like to drink a toast to Amazing Tablescapes, to our designers, to Candy and Vicky, and Roger and Wally and Crystal, and everyone who's on this call tonight, actually, who have made this happen. And go ahead and unmute yourself if you want to say goodnight. That's fine.
Good night, Sarah. Thank you for everything you've done to keep us in the right direction.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for a great event. We look forward to the day that we can all be together again, shake hands and hug, and really tip glasses with one another. Thank you very much.
And thank you for the designers for sticking with us. It's hard.
It's been a really nice Sunday evening, and I'm glad that the videos all seem to work. Thanks.
It did. Thank you very much. Good health, everybody, for the rest of this year.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, England.
Good night. Good night.
Sleep tight.
Good night. See ya.
Thank you.
Okay, now.
Bye-bye.
How do I get out?